Okay, I think it's about time we check in on characters aside from Blake and Yang this time. Hello Internet, I'm your only mate, and time for part 4 of this damn story. The story of what might have happened in RWBY if Blake was the one who lost an arm at the end of Volume 3 instead of Yang. So in case you're new to this, first of all, welcome. And if you're curious what this story is, it's born from a mixture of two things. One being, just what happened in Blake's death battle against Mikasa Ackerman. And a popular what if idea I see in the fandom is just, what if Blake stayed? And I've always thought that was a bit too simple, like there needs to be a bit more to it. So the solution? Blake is the one who loses an arm at the end of Volume 3, and is in the care of Yang, RWBY, and Tai. Well, until RWBY decides to leave to go to Haven, that is. Now, in the last couple of parts, we had a little celebration of Blake's birthday, which was interrupted by the White Fang attacking the Xiaolong house, but they were dealt with, much like they were in the original. And again, like in the original, Ilia turned to the good side. Only this time, she's doing something a little different. Volunteering to head off and find RWBY and warn her of the White Fang attack on Haven Academy. Now in the last part, Blake got her new arm, trained for a while with it, and now her and Yang are off to Haven in order to find RWBY. Now for this part, I'm not going to talk too much about Blake and Yang, as, well, we've spent 3 parts with them. I think it's about time we address the other cast members. Like with RWBY and the rest of Team Ranger. How are they getting along? Well, about the same as they do in the original, leading up to a certain point, which I will get to soon, though with a slight difference being RWBY's emotional state. In the original, RWBY left home while not really talking to Yang all that much after everything that she had been through. Blake ran off, Weiss was gone. As far as she was aware, she just lost her entire team. Here, though, she at least knows that Blake is okay. I mean, yeah, she lost an arm, not Yang, but she knows she's in the care of Yang and her dad. So she's in good hands. So she's at least a little better. She's still quite worried about Weiss, though. Speaking of which, boy. Okay, so I'm really sorry to say this. Weiss's part in Volume 4 doesn't really change at all in this scenario. Everything that happens to her in Volume 4 still happens. There's no change. Oh, God damn it. Who's calling me in the middle of this? Sorry. Hello?
How dare you?
How did he know? Anyway, putting that aside, let's actually catch up with Team Ranger. Specifically, once they arrive at Oniyuri, Ren feels something heading towards them. And that being Tyrion Kalos. After a brief scuffle, and they find out that he is a scorpion faunus, and reveals that he's working for his goddess, who isn't Cinder as RWBY first thought. Tyrion makes it known that he's here for RWBY. And, Jean Red and Nora aren't happy about that. But before he can attack, something strikes the ground in front of him with a bit of a spark to it. But he doesn't see anyone there. Everyone hears a voice, though. Stay away from her. The group look over and they see what looks like part of the building walking over to them. The colours on this figure change, and it's Ilia. She's finally found RWBY, and apparently just in time. Now, this does spark a bit of a confusion with Team Ranger because, well, they don't know who Ilia is. But it looks like she's on their side, so questions for later. As for Tyrion, well, he just sees another person getting in his way. So he goes for the attack. Now, as for how Ilia does in a fight against Tyrion, well, she is able to get the upper hand in one way, and only one way. And that being her camouflage. By drawing him into the alleys and camouflaging herself, she's basically able to just disappear. Tyrion, though, he finds this very fun. It's like a game of hide and seek, but for keeps. Walks down an alley looking for her, scraping his claws along the wall, just laughing, giggling to himself, and just saying, "Where are you? Come out and play." Unfortunately, though, before Ilia can strike, he's able to spot her. Yeah, in a 1v1 fight, I'm sorry, Ilia, but you're not beating Tyrion. Thankfully, though, she's got the rest of Team Ranger to back her up. And during this fight, Ruby's able to improvise quite the plan. She noticed earlier that Ilia's sword whip emits some kind of electricity. So, she instructs Ilia to wrap it around Nora. Ilia doesn't really understand why, but Ruby tells her to just do it. She does so, and Nora activates her semblance, giving her a boost in strength so she can attack Tyrion. And in this story, if Ilia had a couple of lien for every time she wrapped her sword around a girl, and then that girl got a boost in strength, well, she'd have a couple lien. Which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. However, much like in the original, Tyrion is still able to outmuscle Nora. And the rest of Team Ranger plus Ilia. But, of course, Crow shows up at the last second to save his niece. He has his fight with Tyrion, and, well, we know how the rest of that goes. So let's skip ahead to just after Crow has informed everyone who Salem is, and the relics, all that stuff. Now, of course, a change in this is that, well, Ilia knows about this stuff, and once Team Ranger are done with all their questions for Crow, that's when they turn to Ilia, asking her who she is and why she's here. "My name is Ilia, and I came to warn you, you're all in danger." Which Nora chimes in, "A little late for that." "I don't mean that Tyrion guy. I mean you're all in danger heading to Haven. The White Fang are planning on attacking it. It will be just like Beacon all over again." This shooks Crow in particular. Ilia gives some more details on what the White Fang has been planning. About Adam's assassination of Sienna Khan, gaining the throne for himself, and attacking Haven Academy. As if Team Ranger didn't have enough troubles right now. This isn't good. Crow tells him they need to get to Headmaster Lionheart and warn him of this attack. Keep in mind he doesn't know about, The Wren has a question. He wants to know how Ilia knows of this. "Oh, well, I used to be a member of the White Fang." Ooh, and the mood around the group changes. She used to be a member of the White Fang? Was she involved with Beacon? No, I had nothing to do with that, I swear." Ren, Nora, and Jean in particular are not having it. They are mad right now. They don't trust Ilia. But before they can do anything, Ruby stands up and sticks up for her. Because after all, she just helped them fight Tyrion. Who knows what would have happened if she didn't turn up? And she gives them a little reminder of something. About how Blake used to be a part of the White Fang. And now, she's one of their most trusted friends. And even Weiss forgave her. Ruby reminds him of this and stands firm that Ilia can be trusted. The rest of Team Ranger, a bit begrudgingly, sit back down and accept Ilia for now at least. Now Ilia's grateful to Ruby, but also, a Schnee forgave Blake? What? Now granted, Ilia did just find out about Salem, the gods, the relics, all of that stuff. So, Weiss, Schnee, forgiving Blake might not be the biggest mind blow that she has, but, well, it's certainly up there. And, of course, Ilia thanks Ruby. "Thanks, Ruby. You really are just as nice as they said. Oh, that reminds me. I forgot to give you this." Ilia keeps true to her promise and gives Ruby a hug, making sure that her hand is resting on the back of Ruby's head. And it's at that moment, RWBY knows Ilia can 100% be trusted. She only knows one person who gives a hug like that. Wait, did Yang send you? Not just her. Blake too. Oh, and I have some good news for you. Blake's gonna get a new arm from Atlas. Her and Yang are gonna be here soon too. RWBY is absolutely thrilled right now. Like, Yang and Blake are gonna be reuniting with them. Blake's gonna get a new arm. She's okay. Like, 3/4 of their team are gonna come back together soon. Oh, this is the best night RWBY has had in a long time. Unfortunately, the morning comes around and they find out that Crow has been poisoned by Tyrion's tail. Well, their happiness was short-lived. Now, much like in the original, they make their way to Kuroyuri. Of course, splitting up, with one party going to Kuroyuri itself, Ren and Nora going up the mountains. The only real difference being that Ilia is with the group, and she lends a hand. So the only real difference in the finale of Volume 4 is just that, well, the fight with the Nuclevi is just a little easier. But, of course, like I always make sure to do in these what-ifs when we tackle that fight, it is still Ren who gets the killing blow. But there is one small deviation after the Nuclevi is defeated. Once the ships arrive to escort the group to Haven, we hear a few familiar voices. Aw man, it's over already! Just when we finally got something exciting. Oh, come off it. You're glad that thing's dead. RWBY recognizes a couple of those voices. Wait, could it be? The door's open, and it's Team Sun. They get Crow on board and make their way towards Haven. Though, Sun doesn't recognize this redhead girl with a ponytail that's with them. So after RWBY introduces the two, and Ilia learns that this guy is also a friend of Blake, she gives him the news of Blake's arm too, along with her impending arrival, and he is thrilled with the news. But not so much about the news of the White Fang planning on attacking Haven Academy. But Team Sun are determined to make sure that doesn't happen. Right, so there we go. We got Ilia finding RWBY, giving her the news of Blake and Yang making their way to Haven. We got to see more of Team Sun than we did in quite a few volumes. Now, RWBY may know of the upcoming White Fang attack and think she's preparing for it, but she still doesn't know of a few surprises just around the corner. Well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this part, and look forward to hopefully seeing part 5, where we'll tackle Volume 5, and Blake and Yang will finally make their way to Haven. So what do you think? Did you like this part? How could the events of Volume 5 play out? Well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, all that stuff, and because she was a pretty big player in this part, here's my RWBY outro. Bye.
This is Ruby Rose, and you've been watching Your Only Mate. Bye!